Hello students, welcome you all to the discussion on energy exchange and thermostations, the continued part. Today's session will be discussing regarding a relation between a degree of reaction and utilization factor. Along with that, simple problems with respect to the energy exchange and turbo machines. So if you have any queries, you can send me an email to this email address which are shown here. As well as you can send me an WhatsApp message to this number also. So now we will move to session such that we can discuss the things. Yes, as I was telling you in today's session, we'll be discussing regarding relation between degree of reaction and utilization factor. So degree of reaction R, it is given by an equation. R is equal to U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square by the energy equation V1 square minus V2 square plus U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square. Here, if you observe carefully in this equation, V1 square minus V2 square, it is the dynamic component which is related to the kinetic velocity of the fluid. U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square, they are related to the static heads which we represent as S. So using this particular equation, we will be writing the utilization factor derivation. So let us see how it can be done here. So as I said, this is our equation, and the same degree of reaction equation we are writing in this particular form. How we are going to get this one? Let us see here. That is, generally, you know, this is our degree of reaction equation. R is equal to V1 square. Yeah, that is, sorry, it's R is equal to U1 square minus U2 square plus of VR2 square minus VR1 square whole divided by the involvement of kinetic head, that is the dynamic component, V1 square minus V2 square plus of U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square. This is our equation, degree of reaction equation. As I said, we will combine them into the static and dynamic components, that is V1 square minus V2 square. I term it as my static component. So automatically this equation, as I said, that is R is equal to static component, that is U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square whole divided by V1 square minus V2 square plus U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square. This is our degree of reaction equation. What I will do is, this is our dynamic component V1 square minus V2 square, which I will term it as D. Similarly, this is from here to here, these are the static components which you term it as S. Okay. So now, which means even these terms on the numerator side, U1 square minus U2 square, they also be termed as the static component S. So this equation, it gets reduced to this form, that is R is equal to S divided by D plus S, which you can see here. That is R is equal to S divided by D plus S, or this equation can be written as R is equal to 1 divided by D by S plus 1, or it is D by S plus 1 is equal to 1 by R, or the same equation can be written as D by S is equal to 1 by R minus 1. So this we can write it as D by S is equal to 1 by R minus 1. That is D by S is equal to 1 by R of minus 1, or it is D by S is equal to 1 minus R divided by R, or this I can write it as S is equal to, if I take S to the other side, what I get, S is equal to R divided by 1 minus R into dynamic component. What is that? D. So what is our static components? Static components are U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square. These are the static components, which is equal to R divided by 1 minus R into dynamic component, that is V1 square minus V2 square. This is the equation number 2, which I have written on the slide, which is coming directly in this form. That is, here you can see here. So V1 square minus V2 square, in this particular form we are deriving this equation. Now we have, for the utilization factor of any turbine, it is given by this equation. Utilization factor is the ratio of energy equation to the energy utilized, V1 square plus U1 square minus V2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square. This is the energy equation, right? So in the numerator part, which you are observing right now, this is your energy equation. This is your energy equation available. This is, and in the denominator part, the thing which you are observing right now, it is your energy utilized, which you can see here right now. So therefore this is our utilization factor equation. So now what I can do is, wherever the static components you are seeing right now in this equation, wherever you are observing these terms, that is U1 square minus U2 square, that is here in this equation here in the numerator part, as well as in the denominator part, I'll be replacing with this term. So what do I get now? I am replacing the static components in the utilization factor equation. Now just take the LCM, simplify it. That is 1 minus R into V1 square minus V2 square plus R of V1 square minus V2 square. Similarly, 1 minus R into V1 square plus R of V1 square minus V2 square is there. So after taking LCM and making the simplification, you get this form. Now what I'll do is, I'll multiply, I'll open both these brackets. I will multiply, I will open these brackets. So our multiplication, what we get? V1 square minus V1 square minus V2 square minus R V1 square plus R V2 square plus R V1 square minus R V2 square. And similarly in the bottom also, I will see that I go for the multiplication. So you can see here, these are the things we are going to see. Now if you observe carefully here, minus R V1 minus R2 square and plus R, it gets cancelled. Similarly at the bottom, minus R V1 square plus R V2 square, V1 square gets cancelled. And the remaining equation, we are getting it as V1 square minus V2 square divided by V1 square minus R V2 square. We can name this as the relation between utilization factor and degree of reaction. And this is applicable for both axial or radial type of flows also. It's applicable for both axial and radial type of flows. Now, let us see one simple problem using which you can see on the screen right now here. We have said that there is a fluid which is passing through a stage. A fluid is there which passes through one stage of turbo motion. One stage of turbo motion means there is one set of rotor blade and one stator blade. So a set of rotor and stator blade together, which stays one stage of a turbo machine. Already he has given the velocity diagram in this figure, which you can see here right now. So what I will do is I say that you have to find out whether it is a power generating machine or it is a power absorbing machine. Along with that, you have to find out also whether it is having what is the change in enthalpy of the fluid. Change in enthalpy of the fluid is the thing, but you have to find out the energy E, and along with that, you have to find even the utilization factor epsilon. If you observe the velocity triangle which is given in the picture carefully, you can see here that it is having absolute net velocity V1, absolute outlet velocity V2, velocity Vf. It is common for both inlet and outlet velocities Vf. Relative velocity VR1, VR2. Along with that, if you observe carefully here, the value of flow velocity is given in the picture, that is Vf is 200 meters per second. The angles are also given. So if you observe the angles carefully in this particular picture, for the velocity V1, the angle alpha is 45 degree, which is equal to, if you observe the relative velocity VR2, that is equal to 45 degree. Yes. Similarly, if you observe V2, it is equal to VR1. What is the angle between both to VR2 and VR1? They are same, that is 60 degrees. So if the value of these velocities and the sides are equal, then we say that it is a 50% reaction turbine. The R value is 50%. So on the simplification will come to know. So this is a very simple method where you can identify which type of turbine it is, whether it is an impulse turbine or whether it is a reaction turbine. Always remember, for the turbines with 50% degree of reaction or R is equal to 0.5, these are the conditions. 0.50%, these are the conditions. That is V1 is equal to VR2. Similarly, V2 is equal to VR1. Now we shall proceed with the solution of this particular problem. The first thing which he has asked to us in this particular problem is regarding whether it is a power generating machine or a power absorbing machine. So to judge whether it is a power generating machine or a power absorbing machine, you need to find here the things, that is for inlet velocity triangle U1 VU1. Similarly, for the outlet velocity triangle, you have to find out U2 VU2. If the value of U1 VU1 it is more than U2 VU2, then it is an power generating machine. Then it is a power generating machine. But if vice versa happens, that is the value of U1 VU1, it is lesser than U2 VU2, then it is a case of power absorbing machine. It is a case of an power absorbing machine. So you should be very careful when you are calculating the things. It will case of a power absorbing machine. In this problem, if you observe carefully, the tangential velocity at inlet and outlet both are same. That is, you are having u on both the sides, which means in this particular problem, u1 is equal to u2 is equal to u as per the picture given in this figure, which means it is nothing but it is a case of an axial turbine. So here, according to this given data, if you find u, it is common VU1 and UVU2, its product. If you are there greater or smaller, you can judge whether it is a power absorbing machine or a power generating machine. Now the procedure for this particular problem. So what you need to find out is all of these velocities which you are seeing right now on the screen, V1, V2, VF, VR1, VR2, VU2, U, VU1. You have to find their values using your trigonometric functions. As I said, it is an 50% reaction turbine. So if you find one side, if you divide this velocity triangle into two equal parts, you can see here. If I find the properties on one side, that is V1, you can find automatically the VR2 value is calculated. If I find V2, even the VR1 value is calculated. Similarly, if I find the value of VU2 on this side, it is the same on the other side because they are having the same angle subtended, and you will get the value of V1 U also. So now, using the trigonometric functions, we shall go for a solution of this particular problem. So now for our analysis, we are considering the triangle as OAC. So if you observe your concept carefully, this is my triangle OAC, this is my triangle. So you can use here any of your trigonometric functions, that is sine, cos, or tan. So right now we are having the value of VF with you, and even V1 value is there, that is it is having an angle subtended as 45 degree. So you can find out VU1, that is using our trigonometric function as tan. So if I use my tan function, tan 45 degree, it is OC by AC, as you can see here in the picture. So OC is nothing but it is VF itself. OC is nothing but it is VF itself, and its value is 200 meters per second. You will have the value of tan 45 degree. You can find the value of AC, or you will get the value of VU1. So now on substituting the values and doing the simplification, AC is equal to V1 is equal to 200 meters per second. This is for tan 45 degree. Similarly, using the trigonometric function as a sine 45 degree, I will get the value of the sine 45 degree as OC by OA. So through this, you can get the value of absolute velocity V1. So now if you observe carefully here, I need to find the value of V1 now using the sine 45 degree. So this is OC by OA is nothing but it is what? OC is VF and OA is V1. So VF value already is given in the question. Sine 45 degree is there. On substitution and simplification, you get the value of V1 as 282.8 meters per second. As it is been given in the diagram that the angle 45 degree, it is with respect to which velocity? Relative velocity VR2. So therefore, V1 is equal to 282.8 meters per second, which is equal to VR2, because they are having the same angles. Similarly, we shall go for the next triangle, that is a triangle OBC. So which is that particular triangle OBC? This is a triangle OBC. This is OBC. This is a triangle. So you can start with your tan function, cos function, or sine function. Find the value of V2. Find the value of V2. Find the value of VU2. Once you find the value of V2, that is 60 degree, it is equal to which another component, that is VR1, it is having the angle same 60 degree. So you can use sine, cos or tan, use these functions, get the answers. So now coming to the point, I will take it as a sine 60 degree. So sine 60 degrees, you can see here opposite side is VF, hypotenuse is V2. VF value already it is given in the question as a 200 meters per second. VF value it is already given in the picture here, it's 200 meters per second. So we will get the value of V2 for using this particular function. On simplification, I get the value of V2 as 230.9 meters per second. As I said, both are same. We get the value of V2 is equal to VR1 is equal to 230.9 meters per second. Similarly, we can go for finding the cos function. Same triangle cos 60 degree is equal to, this is my adjacent side, that is VU2. This is my adjacent side VU2, and hypotenuse is V2. So directly on simplification, I get the value of VU2 as 115.45 meters per second. Everybody, please observe here carefully. If you observe the figure carefully, whatever this angle is at 60 degree on the left hand side, that is BC, the same angle is there on the right hand side, that is 60 degree here also. So according to this picture, as all are similarities on both sides of a triangle, so BC is equal to CD. So I can write this as also as VU2. I can write this as VU2. Similarly, from here to here, that is C to E, I can turn this as even VU1 also, because we are having similar triangles on both the sides. So now the only component left to find out is VU2. So sorry, we need to find out the value of U. We need to find the value of U. So now if you observe the triangle carefully, from here to here, that is from this particular end to this particular end. So what is U? U is nothing but it is the addition of the two tangential velocity components VU1 plus VU2. So if I add up here, this is VU1 here, and this one that is VU2, I'll get the value of U. So those things I have done here right now. So U is equal to AC plus CD, and we get the value of U as 315.15 meters per second. So once you have this one, you can go for finding the product of U VU1 and U VU2, and you can judge whether it is a power absorbing machine or a power generating machine. So as I said, in this case, U is common for both inlet and outlet velocity triangles as it's an axial flow turbine. You need to just verify the value of VU1 and VU2. So already you know, if you observe the values here, VU1 value is how much? It is 200 meters per second. So this is the value of VU1, and what is the value of VU2? It is 115 meters per second, which means VU1 is greater than VU2, and therefore it is a power generating machine. Similarly, now I can find whether it is the change in total enthalpy. That is the thing what it is, the energy E equation, energy per unit weight. So for energy total change in enthalpy is the thing, but it is the energy change in equation. So delta H naught, that is with respect to U, as we have U1 is equal to U2 in this particular expression, we are having U1 is equal to U2 is equal to U. So this energy equation E or delta S naught, it reduces to this form now, that is U of VU1 minus VU2 by GC. GC is energy per unit weight. Its value is 1 itself. So substitute the values, get the answer. So on simplification, we get the value of delta H naught as 266.67 kilojoules. Then we have to find the degree of reaction equation. One more important, students, degree of reaction equation. Generally, we are writing our degree of reaction equation with this relation, that is R is equal to U1 square, that is the static component in the numerator, U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square whole divided by V1 square minus V2 square plus U1 square minus U2 square plus VR2 square minus VR1 square. Yes, students. Now, if I multiply this equation, that is this degree of reaction equation, by these terms, 1 by 2 GC. Similarly, here in the numerator as 1 by 2 GC. So if you observe carefully, the denominator part, it is nothing but these all terms are representing which equation? They are representing the energy equation as E. They are representing the energy equation as E. In the numerator, please do observe here carefully. In the numerator, what I will do now here is, this is 1 by 2 GC in the numerator. In the numerator, what I will do here is a small manipulation part, which I am going to do here in the numerator part also. Please to observe carefully. What I will do is plus of V1 square minus V2 square. Now what I will do, I will close this bracket entirely. Yes. Then at the same time, what I am doing, minus V1 square minus V2 square whole bracket with 2GC. Please see here, everybody. So now, if you observe the numerator part, what is this all together? What is this all together? Is it representing the energy equation itself? E. So what it means, if I write the degree of reaction in terms of energy equation, how I can write? R is equal to E minus of V1 square minus V2 square divided by 2GC whole divided by E. Why I said you this one is, if in your question, if in your solution step you have found out energy equation, energy value E, and if you know V1 and V2, you can go directly for this equation. You can save your time. So this is a small method you can remember for your competitive exams also. So you can use either this equation or the generalized degree of reaction equation also. So now we can use directly even this equation also, no problem. We can use this equation or go for that equation. So I am having the values. I will substitute and get the value of R as 0.5. I'll get the value of R as 0.5. So R is equal to 0.5. It is an indication of reaction turbine. It is known as 50% reaction turbine. It is known as 50% reaction turbine. R is equal to 0.5. Similarly, another point left is that regarding the utilization factor epsilon. Epsilon is equal to, we are having V1 square minus V2 square divided by V1 square minus R V2 square. You have the values, substitute the values, you get the epsilon as 0.5. So these are some of the things you need to know when you are solving the problems using this particular method. In the next sessions, we will be discussing regarding some of the cases for degree of reaction value of R. R value equal to 0, less than 0, more than 0, equal to 1, less than 1. Some different cases we will be discussing in the next class, along with the some of the problems related to the degree of reaction and utilization factor. So today we shall stop here, students.